I have been a 911 dispatcher for 6 years now. I have heard hundreds of emergency calls, everything from car accidents to robberies, strokes to house fires. I have learned to stay calm no matter what comes through that headset, because that is my job. I was preparing to marry the woman I thought was the love of my life. She was everything I wanted and we were planning our future together. But nothing could have prepared me for the call I received on that Tuesday night shift. A familiar voice screamed through my headset, and in that moment, my world shattered completely. Before I tell you what happened next, let me ask you something. Where in the world are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments below. And if you appreciate real stories about betrayal, composure, and finding strength when you least expect it, please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. This story is about the night I discovered the truth in the worst way possible and how I handled it with the same calm professionalism I bring to every emergency call. Now let me take you back to where it all began, before that devastating phone call changed everything. My name is Cornell, and at 30 years old, I work as a 911 dispatcher in a mid-sized city in the South, somewhere between Memphis and Nashville. I work the night shift 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 5 days a week. The dispatch room is dimly lit, filled with the glow of computer screens, detailed maps of the city covering the walls, and the constant hum of radio chatter. I love this job because it allows me to help people during their darkest moments. Over the years, I have guided panicked callers through CPR, talked down suicidal individuals, and coordinated responses that have saved countless lives. 3 years ago, I met Natalie at a small coffee shop downtown. She was sitting by the window, her auburn hair catching the afternoon sunlight, working on her laptop with intense focus. I accidentally bumped her table, nearly spilling her latte, and we struck up a conversation that lasted 2 hours. She worked as a marketing coordinator for a local company, and her bright green eyes and warm smile drew me in immediately. Natalie was energetic, organized, and always seemed to have everything under control. She loved planning, whether it was our weekend trips or simple dinner dates. We got engaged 6 months ago. The proposal was simple but meaningful, just the two of us at the park where we had our first picnic. She cried happy tears, and I felt like the luckiest man alive. We started planning our spring wedding right away. We chose the venue, a beautiful barn decorated with string lights. Natalie tried on wedding dresses and looked stunning in every single one. We sent out save the date cards to friends and family. Everything seemed perfect. We lived together in a 2-bedroom apartment across town. Our schedules were opposite, which was challenging. I worked nights while Natalie worked regular business hours 9 to 5. We often missed each other during the week, but we made it work. On weekends, we cooked together, tried new recipes, watched movies on the couch, and talked about our future. I trusted Natalie completely. She was thoughtful and caring, always leaving little notes for me before I left for my shift. Things like, "Be safe tonight, I love you," written on sticky notes attached to my lunch bag. Around 2 months before that phone call, things started to shift. Natalie began working late more frequently. She would tell me her company had a major project, and she needed to stay at the office until 9 or 10 at night. I did not question it because she had always been dedicated to her career. Some evenings, I would be getting ready for my shift when she walked through the door, exhausted and distant. We barely exchanged more than a quick hello and goodbye. I felt a little sad about the lack of quality time, but I told myself it was just a busy season for her. Her attitude changed too. She became more withdrawn. During the day, she used to send me long text messages about random things just to stay connected. That slowed down. When I texted her, "I love you," she would respond with just a heart emoji instead of her usual thoughtful replies. On weekends, when I suggested going out for dinner or catching a movie, she would say she was too tired. I noticed but convinced myself not to be clingy or demanding. I thought to myself, she is just stressed about work and the wedding planning. One evening, I saw her sitting on the couch typing on her phone and smiling. It was a genuine smile, the kind she used to give me. When I asked, "What is so funny?" she jumped slightly, quickly locked her screen, and said, "Just a meme from my coworker." Something felt off, but I pushed the feeling aside. I was not the jealous type. I trusted her. We were getting married in 4 months. She would not do anything to jeopardize that. At least that is what I told myself. Then came that Tuesday night. I arrived at the dispatch center at 10:45 p.m., carrying the lunch Natalie had packed for me. It was rare for her to do that lately, so it felt special. Inside the container was a turkey sandwich and a handwritten note that said, "Love you, be safe tonight." My heart warmed. Maybe things were getting back to normal. I texted her, "Thanks for the food, baby. Love you." She replied 15 minutes later with a simple heart emoji and the words, "Sleep well." I assumed she had gone to bed early, probably around 11 p.m. The first few hours of my shift were routine. I took 5 calls. The first was a minor car accident with no injuries. The second was a false alarm from a fire detector. The third involved an elderly woman who had fallen in her bathroom. The fourth was a loud domestic dispute with shouting in the background. The fifth was a man experiencing chest pain, possibly a heart attack. I handled each call with my usual calm, clear, and authoritative voice. My coworkers often complimented me on my ability to keep callers composed during chaos. At 2:13 a.m., the phone rang again. I picked it up and said in my standard greeting, "911, what is your emergency?" A woman's voice screamed on the other end, panicked and desperate. "Oh my God, he is not breathing, please help!" For a split second, my brain froze. I knew that voice. It was unmistakable. My heart started pounding, but my training kicked in automatically. I said, "Ma'am, stay calm. Tell me what happened." She did not recognize my voice. She was too hysterical. My friend. He stopped breathing. We were just talking, and he grabbed his chest and collapsed. I asked for the address, and she gave it to me. My hands trembled as I typed it into the system. It was not our apartment. It was an address on the other side of the city in an upscale apartment complex. I asked, "What is your name, ma'am?" She replied, shaking, Natalie Morrison." "Please hurry, I do not know what to do." My chest tightened. She told me she went to bed. She told me she was home. But here she was at 2 in the morning at a stranger's apartment screaming about a man who stopped breathing. My mind raced. "Friend, at this hour, I forced myself to stay professional. Someone's life was at stake. I asked, 'Is he breathing at all? Put your hand on his chest.' I dispatched an ambulance to the location and marked it as priority 1 possible cardiac arrest. I told my coworker next to me, 'We need units there fast.' I stayed on the line with Natalie, walking her through CPR. Push hard and fast in the center of his chest. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could hear her crying, struggling, saying, 'Please do not die. Please do not die.' When I heard sirens approaching in the background, I told her, 'Help is there, ma'am. You will be okay.' She sobbed, thank you so much," and the call ended. I sat there staring at the computer screen. My coworker glanced at me and asked, "You good, Cornell? You look pale." I forced a smile and said, "Yeah, I am fine. Just, that was intense." But inside my mind was spinning out of control. Who was he? Why was Natalie at that address at 2 a.m.? She said, "Friend." But everything about this felt wrong. I checked the system. The ambulance had reached the location. The report came through shortly after. Male, mid-30s cardiac arrest transported to Memorial Hospital. I knew that hospital well. My buddy Derek worked there as a paramedic. I waited until 3 a.m., giving the crew enough time to get the patient stabilized and to the emergency room. Then I pulled out my phone and called Derek. He answered groggily, "Cornell." "What is up, man? It is 3 in the morning." I said, "I know I am sorry. Did you guys just bring in a cardiac arrest patient from Riverside Apartments?" There was a pause. "Yeah, we did. Why are you asking?" I hesitated, then said, "Can you tell me anything about it?" Derek sounded confused. "That is weird, but okay. Guy is stable now. Had a heart attack. There was a woman with him, really freaked out. Kept saying she could not believe this happened over and over." I swallowed hard. "The woman? What did she look like?" Derek described her. "Auburn hair, green eyes, really pretty. She rode in the ambulance with him." "Why Cornell?" I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I mumbled something about just being curious and hung up. My hands were shaking. I opened Google Maps and typed in the address Natalie had given. Riverside Apartments, luxury units. Not a place where casual friends just hang out in the middle of the night. I pulled up Natalie's social media, Instagram, Facebook. I scrolled back through the last few months. Nothing indicated she had a close male friend. But then I noticed something. 2 months ago, she started following someone named Trevor Hayes. I clicked on his profile. Mid-30s, worked in marketing, same industry as Natalie. In a few of his photos from company events, I could see Natalie in the background laughing, standing close to him. My chest felt like it was being crushed in a vice. I could barely focus for the rest of my shift. I took 3 more calls but handled them on autopilot. At 7 a.m., I clocked out and drove home in silence. The sun was rising, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and pink, but I felt like I was drowning in darkness. I kept thinking maybe I am wrong. Maybe it is innocent. Maybe there is an explanation. But deep down, I knew better. I arrived home at 7:35 a.m. The apartment was quiet. Natalie usually woke up around 7 to get ready for work. I walked into the bedroom. She was still asleep, her hair messy, her face relaxed. On the nightstand, her phone screen lit up with a notification. I glanced at it. A text from someone named Trevor. The preview read, "I am okay now. Thank you for staying with me last night. I love you." My heart stopped. I love you. I stood there, frozen, staring at those 3 words. Natalie stirred and opened her eyes. She saw me and smiled sleepily. "Oh, you are home. How was work?" I did not smile back. My voice came out cold and flat. "It was interesting. I got a call at 2 a.m. She stretched and said casually, "Oh yeah, what kind of call?" I kept my eyes locked on hers. "A woman called because her friend stopped breathing." Natalie froze. Her face went pale. I continued, my voice eerily calm. "Want to know the funny part? That woman was you, Natalie." She sat up quickly, her eyes wide. "Cornell, I can explain." I cut her off, my voice rising. "Explain what? That you lied about going to bed, that you were at another man's apartment at 2 in the morning, that you called 911 screaming about your lover while I was the one on the line." She started crying. "I did not know it was you. I was so scared Trevor had a heart attack and—" I interrupted again, my voice shaking. "Trevor. So, that is his name. How long, Natalie? How long have you been sleeping with him?" She tried to reach for me, but I stepped back. It is not like that." I raised my voice, something I rarely did. "Then what is it like?" She was sobbing now. 4 months. We have been together for 4 months." 4 months. The words hit me like a freight train. 4 months meant it started right before we got engaged. She had been living a double life, kissing me goodnight, and then sneaking off to be with him. She tried to explain through her tears. "I did not mean for it to happen. Trevor and I worked on a project together. We got close, and things just happened." I stared at her, feeling a mixture of rage and heartbreak. "Things just happened. We are engaged, Natalie. We were planning our wedding." She grabbed my hand, desperate. I know, and I felt terrible every day. I wanted to tell you, but I did not know how I love you. Cornell, I really do, but I also have feelings for Trevor, and I got confused. I pulled my hand away. Confused. You were not confused when you were at his place at 2 a.m. You were not confused when you called me the man you are supposed to marry to save your lover's life. She collapsed onto the bed, crying uncontrollably. "I am sorry. I am so sorry." I took a step back, looking at her as if she were a stranger. "You know what the worst part is? I saved his life. I sat there guiding you through CPR, making sure the ambulance got there fast. For him. While you were crying over him, I was doing my job. I was professional. I was calm. But inside, Natalie, I was dying." She reached for me again. "Cornell, please." I walked toward the door. "I need you to leave." She looked up, shocked. "What?" I repeated, my voice like ice. "Pack your things. I want you out of here." She stood up, panicking. "No, please, we can work through this. I will end things with Trevor right now. I choose you." I shook my head. "You do not get to choose now, Natalie. You already made your choice 4 months ago." I grabbed my car keys and walked out. She called after me. "Where are you going?" I did not turn around. "Out. When I come back, I want you gone." I left the apartment, got in my car, and drove aimlessly. I ended up at a park sitting on a bench staring at nothing. It was 8 a.m. Families were walking their dogs. Joggers passed by. Children played on the swings. Everything looked so normal, but my entire world had collapsed. I sat there for 3 hours, numb. At 11 a.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Natalie. "I have packed my things. I am staying at my sister's. I am sorry, Cornell. I am so sorry." I did not reply. I drove back home and opened the door. Half the apartment was empty. Her clothes were gone from the closet. Her books were missing from the shelves. Her makeup had vanished from the bathroom. It looked like a ghost had lived there. I took 3 days off work. My boss understood without me having to explain much. Take the time you need, Cornell. I spent those days sitting in the empty apartment, staring at the walls. I did not cry. I did not rage. I just felt nothing. A hollow numbness settled over me. Friends called, but I did not answer. Only Derek came by bringing pizza and beer. I am sorry, man. I did not know when I told you about the woman. I shook my head. It is not your fault. I needed to know. Natalie texted me every day. Can we talk? I miss you. I made a terrible mistake. Trevor and I are over. I ended it. Please give me another chance. I read them but never responded. She called multiple times, but I never picked up. One evening she showed up at the apartment knocking on the door. I opened it and just looked at her. She had been crying. Please, can we just talk? I said quietly. There is nothing to talk about, Natalie. It is over. I closed the door. That night, I lay in bed thinking about everything. I had trusted her completely. I thought we would grow old together, have kids, build a life. But it had all been an illusion. For 4 months, she had been lying to me. She slept beside me, kissed me, told me she loved me, all while betraying me with someone else. The worst part was not even the cheating. It was the deception, the way she looked me in the eyes and lied so easily. But as painful as it was, I realized something. I did not need her. I did not need someone who could do that to me. I needed to be free. I needed to move forward. 2 weeks after everything exploded, I was cleaning out the apartment when I found a box of Natalie's things she had left behind. Photo albums, a few pieces of clothing, some jewelry. I texted her, "You left some stuff here. Come get it, or I am throwing it out." She replied immediately, "Can you keep it for now? I do not have space at my sister's." I typed back, "No, you have 1 week." I set the box in the hallway, but then an idea came to me. A way to officially close this chapter. A way to show her that I had completely moved on. For the first time in 2 weeks, I smiled. I called a moving company. "Hi, I need to schedule a pickup and delivery." The woman on the phone asked, "Sure, what is the address?" I gave her our apartment address for pickup and then said, "Delivery address is Riverside Apartments Unit 214. That was Trevor's place. She asked, "What are we moving?" I said, "Just a few boxes, personal belongings." She continued, "And who is the recipient?" I answered, "The name is Natalie Morrison. She will be at that address." I scheduled it for Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Then I sent Natalie a text. "Your stuff will be delivered Saturday at 10 a.m. Be ready." She responded, confused. "Delivered where?" I typed back, "Where you should have moved it yourself." I did not wait for her reply. On Saturday morning, I was not home when the moving truck arrived. Instead, I met Derek at a coffee shop. We sat outside, drinking lattes and talking about anything except Natalie. At 11 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Hello." It was Natalie, her voice furious. "Cornell, what the hell you sent my stuff to Trevor's apartment?" I took a sip of my coffee calmly. "Well, that is where you have been spending your time, right?" Thought it made sense. She was nearly screaming. That is so petty." I replied evenly, "No, Natalie, that is called consequences. Enjoy your new life." I hung up. Derek had heard the whole thing. He was grinning. "Dude, that is savage." I shrugged. "She wanted to have her cake and eat it too. Not anymore." He asked, "How do you feel?" I thought about it. Honestly, lighter. Like I just put down a weight I did not know I was carrying. Natalie sent a few more angry texts. "You are cruel. I cannot believe you did this. Trevor does not even want me here now." I read them and felt nothing. No satisfaction, no guilt, just emptiness. I blocked her number. I blocked her on every social media platform. Before I blocked her completely, I sent one final message. "I dispatched an ambulance for your lover. I dispatched a moving truck for your stuff. Now I am dispatching you from my life. Goodbye, Natalie." Then I hit block. Over the next few days, I started canceling wedding plans. I called the venue. "I need to cancel." They mentioned I would lose the deposit. That is fine. I called the caterer, the florist, the photographer, canceled everything. I sent an email to everyone on the guest list. "The wedding is canceled. Personal reasons. Thank you for your understanding. Some people reached out asking what happened. I gave them a brief explanation. My family and friends were incredibly supportive. My mom said, "You deserve better, sweetheart." My dad simply said, "You did the right thing." 1 month after the disaster, I started feeling like myself again. I went to work focused on helping people, hung out with friends on weekends. I even joined a gym and started eating healthier. I decided to move to a different apartment. I needed a fresh start, a place with no memories of Natalie. The new place was smaller but brighter with big windows and a view of the park. I decorated it exactly how I wanted. One night during my shift, I took an emergency call. A man whose wife was in labor. I calmly guided them to the hospital, kept them calm, reassured them everything would be fine. When I finished the call, I leaned back in my chair and realized something. I was okay. I was actually okay. The pain was still there, but it was no longer consuming me. I could breathe again. 3 months after everything ended, life had returned to a new kind of normal. I was not the same person I was before. I was different, maybe stronger, definitely wiser. I did not think about Natalie every day anymore. Occasionally I would see a happy couple and feel a small pang in my chest, but it was not bitterness. It was just a reminder of what I once had and lost. I started focusing on myself in ways I never had before. On weekends, I went hiking in the nearby mountains, enjoying the solitude and the beauty of nature. I joined a book club and discovered a love for thrillers and mysteries. I reconnected with old friends I had neglected during my relationship, grabbing dinner and catching up on life. I even signed up for a cooking class and learned how to make Italian dishes from scratch. Cooking became therapeutic, a way to channel my energy into something creative. Life was not perfect, but it was peaceful. That was something I had not felt in a long time. I reflected on everything that had happened. I did not regret letting Natalie go. Betrayal had taught me valuable lessons. Trust is something earned, not given freely. People can change, or maybe they just reveal their true colors over time. I could not control what others did, only how I responded, and I was proud of how I handled everything. No begging, no violence, no unnecessary drama, just clean, decisive action. I handled the situation the same way I handle emergency calls, calmly and effectively. 6 months after that terrible night, I heard through a mutual friend that Natalie and Trevor had broken up. Apparently, a relationship built on lies and cheating does not last. Trevor could not trust Natalie after learning she had been engaged to someone else the entire time they were together. The friend told me Natalie wanted to reach out, that she wanted to apologize properly. I declined. "Tell her I wish her well, but I have moved on. I do not need her apology." The friend looked at me and said, "You are really over it, huh?" I nodded. "Completely. Betrayal does not define you. Your response does. I learned that people will disappoint you, sometimes the people you love most. But that is a reflection of them, not you. I did not do anything wrong. I was not lacking in any way. Natalie made her choices for her own reasons, not because I was not good enough. If someone wants to leave, let them. Do not beg. Do not chase. You deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not someone you have to convince to stay. Staying calm in a crisis is a skill I learned from my job, but it applies to life as well. When everything falls apart, do not lose yourself. Keep your dignity intact. Handle your pain with grace. You will respect yourself more in the end. Moving on does not mean forgetting. It means accepting what happened and choosing not to let it hold you back. I will always remember that night, the 911 call, the crushing feeling of betrayal, but it does not hurt anymore. It is just a chapter in my life story, not the entire book. The best revenge is living well, and that is exactly what I am doing. 1 year after the incident, I still work as a 911 dispatcher. I still love my job. I still save lives. I am single, but I am not lonely. I have been dating casually, taking my time, not rushing into anything serious. I have learned to enjoy my own company. I have built a life I am proud of, surrounded by good friends and supportive family. I am at peace with myself in a way I never was before. If you are going through something similar, know this: you will survive. It will not feel like it at first. You will think the pain will never end, but it will. One day you will wake up and realize you did not think about them. And then those days will multiply. You will build a new life, a better life. And you will realize that sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually the best thing. because it frees you to find what you truly deserve. I dispatched her betrayal, and in doing so, I dispatched myself into a better future. And for that, I am grateful. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever had to stay calm during your own personal crisis? How did you handle betrayal or heartbreak? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it helps you remember that no matter how dark things seem, you have the strength to move forward. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and remember that better days are always ahead.